watching the monkey.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of The Art of Being with the Act Matrix podcast. I'm Kevin, one of your hosts. At least in this picture, down below me is Phil.
Phil, welcome.
Co-host. And we have Hank, Robb, with us today. And we were just discussing, he's way over on the left coast in the United States, outside of Portland, Oregon. And Phil and I are both really way over on the East Coast.
East Coast.
But Hank's, well, he's going to tell us what he's here to talk about.
Yep.
I mean, Hank, you've been around the ACT community since before it was born, probably.
For a long time, yes.
Yeah, a long time. Saw the Matrix early on, so you've been around a whole lot. So what's your topic?
Well, I said a moment ago that I not only brought my body and my mind, but what I also brought is what I would call the spiritual aspect of my being, and what I would mainly like to focus on.
I remember now that wild term that's at the bottom of the hexaflex that everybody struggles with.
That no one has any idea what that would be.
Yeah, I've read more explanations of that from very learned people and come away going,
lots of opinions.
Well, that's great.
That's also why I said I brought my mind. If I said I brought my verbal repertoire of behavior, then you would know what the hell I was talking about.
You'll probably start snoring then too.
Well, we talk to you about the contextual aspect of it. What is that?
Yeah. We lose people in a hurry when we do
Real
that.
quick.
Right.
But at least in the language community that I belong to, it's quite common for people to talk about not only a mind and a body, but a spirit.
Yes.
And one could understand that to be some kind of reference to some supernatural, spaceless, weightless, timeless stuff that interacts with the physical world, that has space, that takes up space and exists in time, and has some kind of weight to it, some atomic weight or something like that. But if you give up that kind of dualistic approach, you don't really have to throw out this kind of third term to make reference to something that is a kind of a place from which you not only sense that you are a mind and body, but that you have one. There's a kind of aspect of you possesses a mind and a body, and can have a relationship with it that is different, a life that is different than if you were only a mind and a body.
Whoa, deep stuff.
Yeah.
Or high stuff, whichever way you want to do it.
What I hope mostly is interesting stuff.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
So, most people are familiar with this notion if they've been hanging around ACT or hanging around the Matrix in particular. Who is making those choices?
Yep.
Right.
You could recast a little bit as, from where are those choices being made? Well, you can make them from your mind, because your mind will have plenty of things to tell you.
Absolutely.
Pictures to show you. Or you could make them from your body, because bodies are always, pushing you in one direction or another, go toward or get away from, that kind of thing.
Yep.
But there is also this aspect of you that can pick what you do with your hands and arms and feet and mouth even if your mind is saying, no, 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 do
Yeah.
something different. And even if your body is pushing for, oh, no, no, do this. And this is the aspect of our being that makes wisdom possible. Because
Yep.
what is wisdom? Wisdom is looking at now from the perspective of a later time.
Yeah.
And then making choices about what you do right here, right now, based on how things are likely to be later on.
Yep.
A lot of people have heard that phrase, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. And what I'm fond of noting is, the trouble is tomorrow comes and we're not dead.
Then
Yeah.
you're not dead. Yep.
Facts.
Only dead, that would take care of it.
Yeah, right.
So my little suggestion alternatively is, if you plan to be around tomorrow, best act like it today. Now, none of us know if we will be around tomorrow, but most of us have a plan. So
Yeah.
what's the plan?
Right.
And if you plan to be around tomorrow, then right here, right now, you could act that way. We're the only beings that I know of who have both this opportunity and this dilemma, because bears and horses and ticks and you name it are not dealing with, yes, but what about when spring comes? What about when hockey season arrives? They're not dealing with that. Wisdom is not an opportunity for them, but it is for us.
Yeah.
And that comes with, as you all well know, it comes with thoughts and images that will, and bodily sensations, but particularly thoughts and images that take us out of the moment that we're in. Well, that is a good thing in terms of being able to see this moment from the perspective of later on. But it's a difficult thing, because then we often find it difficult to be present in the moment that we're actually in, because we keep being invited by our mind to travel off to someplace else.
Yes.
Yep. Either back or forth.
That's right. Somewhere besides here.
Yeah.
Usually not here. Exactly. Right.
And it's also tricky, because it can even be now, but not here.
Right.
Right now, my wife is at home in bed. It's happening right here. But it's happening right. It's happening right now, but it's not happening right here.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Wow. And so under all of that is spirituality.
Well, I would say the place from which these kinds of things, and there are a number of things, I'll list off the ones that I've sort of been able to identify, and see if we've captured it, maybe, or if I've captured it, maybe you have some to add. But if you do that exercise or activity that Steve Hayes kind of made famous, which is to notice anything, and then some people find it difficult to do the second thing, which is to notice that you're noticing.
Yeah.
But whether you can do the second thing or not, if you just start with noticing something and ask who is doing that, then you will probably hear, your mind will tell you, me or I am. And it's usually pretty clear that blah, 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 me, I am. Well, that's not what's doing it.
No.
Those words are pointing
They're
to
pointing.
an aspect of your being where it is happening. And if you follow this kind of funny instruction of take yourself to that place, kind of a weird instruction, but almost always people can do it. When you get there, you find, oh, well, not only can I notice, but I also have that ability to notice That I'm noticing.
Yeah.
And further, I can notice that what we are noticing is also noticing. So that phrase, I see you, seeing me, seeing you.
Right.
You can make contact with other beings in a way that is very interesting, more than just two. It's actually three ways that we can make contact. And then also many people find when they get there, there's this sense that the place at which they have arrived has been there for a very long time. It's very difficult for people to kind of, oh yes, I recall when this place wasn't there.
Right.
So it has this long duration, and it has this other kind of funny aspect, and that is the things that it has contacted: joy, sorrow, pain, whatever it has made contact with, it doesn't seem to have been changed by the things with which it's made contact. And then often people can sense that there is a kind of stability at this place. It's a little bit like the eye of a hurricane. You know, outside on the edge, things are spinning around, lots of thoughts and images and bodily sensations. But if you get to this place, there's a kind of stability there. And that's often thought of as desirable because people are often looking for things in life that are stable. And when you bring yourself to this place that seems to have been there for a long time, that's not changed much by the things that it's contacted. For example, the 8-year-old mind and body is very different than the minds and body that we have now, especially us. I see there's a lot of gray around here. But even at 25, it's a lot different than it was at 8. But again, this aspect, this thing I'm calling the spiritual aspect, doesn't seem to have changed much, and it often has this sense of stability. Also, when you get there, there doesn't seem to be, there's kind of this buzz of being. It's not so much good or bad. It's not so much I like it or I don't. Well, people often do kind of like that sense of buzz. But you might say you've kind of gone beyond duality. You've gone beyond this and that and up and down and right and wrong and left and right and whatever. There's this just kind of isness or beingness.
Being, right.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of people find that they like that kind of experience. And often we can sense it elsewhere. Now, the thing that I found sort of interesting about this is people often find it more readily not in human beings, but in their pets. If you ask,
dog.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you like, where else do you find this buzz of being?
Mm-hmm.
People will often name their pets rather than their mates.
Yep.
A little more looking, and we often can find that that buzz of being is not just in us, but it's elsewhere. There is this sense that I mentioned earlier of not just being a mind and body, but in some sense possessing a mind and body the way we might possess a coat or a pair of shoes. It's something, those are things that we have rather than things that we are. Now, we could talk some about that because there's a source of difficulty that can show up there. But often from this place, that experience of possessing things, whose body is this? Oh, it's mine. Well, who's the mine?
Mm-hmm.
It's this aspect of our being. And there's a certain sense of bodily control when you're at the spiritual aspect of your being, or what people would call self as context, which, as we've already noted, who knows what that is.
Right.
But it is this place of, when I'm there, whether my mind or my body is saying, raise your right hand, I could not do it. And there's a very strong sense of, yep, right now in this place, I'm in charge of my hands and arms and feet and mouth. And that gives us this ability to pick what we do with it. And also, I think very importantly, it allows us to pick what we do either willingly or grudgingly.
Mm-hmm.
Because those ways of doing things are actually choices that we can make. And finally, not only do we get to pick what we do with our hands and arms and feet and mouth, we can pick what we put those actions in the service of. So if you run all that out, it comes to about 11 different aspects or different functions that are associated with this place from which. And to come back now to the matrix, all of those things would be involved in, well, who's doing that? Who gets to pick that?
Yes.
May not get to pick my thoughts or my feelings, but what I do with my hands and arms and feet and mouth, I do get to pick that. And what I put my actions in the service of, oh, I also get to pick that. Not my mind picks it, but this other place is the place I pick it from.
Right.
And I get to pick doing those things willingly rather than grudgingly. I not only get to pick, oh, I'm going to act wisely now. And of course, the nature of wisdom is it's always about tomorrow. Like,
Yep. Yep.
I'm going to act wisely yesterday.
Getting wise later on.
what does wisdom say about your homework? What does your body say about your homework? Right?
Nice, right.
Something else. So I once was showing this to someone in my consultation room, and he said, "Oh, I get it. The buzzkill."
Yeah, I like that.
So instead of the buzz of being, it's the buzz kill.
Yeah, well, it's the buzzkill of, hey, let's do that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. True. Which,
I'll have another one. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Not always sort of fun to think back on, though.
Well, and if we use our past, again, wisely,
Mm-hmm.
instead of using it as an opportunity to blame and condemn ourselves, we could use it as a way to make choices that we are more satisfied with right here, right now, but which is the future from the choices that we made or actions that we took in the past. And again, I think the matrix very much involves that kind of activity. And it's a spiritual aspect that really allows all of those kinds of things to take place.
Mm-hmm.
So diagrammatically, it would be, in the matrix terms, we would have noticing in the middle, and then a small circle in the middle that had noticing again. You would be noticing.
And I would simply say, you'd have a small circle in the middle that represents the spiritual aspect of being and has all these other functions as well. Not just noticing, not just noticing that you're noticing that you're noticing.
Okay, Phil. All right, so what he's describing.
I write that little.
No. Okay, but the easier thing, Phil, is to put the buzz of being in the middle.
All right, let's just do that.
That's much more matrixy.
I did manage to squeeze the B in there.
Yeah, would be the buzz of being right in the middle of everything. And
and if one wanted to pick something, I think that's a good one because it definitely gives you this sense that you are going beyond some kind of linguistic
Mhm.
A, B, F, Y, X, Z, some kind of beyond the intellectual ability that we have to keep dividing things up.
Yep. So the buzz becomes sort of a white noise.
Right.
Sort of
Well, maybe even an orchestra.
an orchestra or whatever, but it's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
All happening together.
Yeah.
And you're dancing to it.
Well, and there you are. Because you don't ask yourself, what does it mean? Because it doesn't mean anything.
No.
It's just an experience of being.
Right. That's it.
Yep.
And that, my friends, Hank's getting at, that's one of the few people who come on to really talk about the art of being. And that's what this is. And that's being in the middle. Be was always the thing in the middle. But I like the buzz of being. Because I keep bees, so you can imagine where I would like be the buzz of being.
Yeah.
Fits with what I do, but it's cool. I like it. Noticing. And that part of that is spirituality.
Yeah.
Well, I think
it touches upon it.
That is something that I think people who are looking, who will say, I'm looking to cultivate the spiritual aspect of my being, they often are looking for that experience that is beyond duality.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the thing is, the tricky thing is, well, you know this phrase, those who know do not say, those who say do not know. Because trying to talk about it is really, it's not really very good with words.
As it goes beyond words.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
it's an experience, it's not words.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of fond of saying about the best I can come up with is just way cool.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go. That's right down our alley. Way cool. Exactly it. It's and folks that are listening to this, everybody knows about balance, right? You balance, you get up and you walk around and you balance. And we have a word for it called balance, but that word is not balance.
Right. Exactly.
Balance is the experience.
The name of the thing is not the thing being.
The finger pointing at the moon kind of thing.
You don't need to know the word balance to be balancing.
Right.
And that's what he's referring to. There comes this level of being where you run out of words. They're just not there anymore. And there you are. and that's it. That's you right there. That's you.
Now see, I think that is where life can get tricky.
Yep.
Because the impression is somehow that's the real you.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a place that people can get tricked.
Yeah, true.
It's no more the real you than your mind is the real you, or that your body is the real you.
Or I got to get back to the real me.
Exactly.
Right.
So I think that if a person were to, what is the real me? Well, the real me is your mind and your body and the spiritual aspect of your being and all that has been up to this moment. So you're all that has ever been. And in every moment, you are all that you could be.
You're
which is, I think, what the psychology of potential is about. Now, I like to say a couple of my favorite saints, St. Paul and St. John, McCartney and Lennon, who wrote there's nothing you can do that can't be done. In my 20s, I tried about 1,500 times to slam dunk a basketball.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
You could do it with a step ladder.
I remember many days out in my driveway trying to do that, Hank. Many days.
But, right at this moment, I could take my computer and put the laptop down. I could stop everything.
Mm-hmm.
I could start screaming. I could curse you. All of these things are in my repertoire.
That's all there.
Full range.
In this very moment is the potential for me to do anything that I can do. Now, the potential is not there for me to do things I can't do. And I think this is really important to stress.
Like slam dunking basketballs.
Yeah, people get the idea of, oh, well, if I'm at this place, I can do anything. I can fly around the room. Well, okay, let's see. But I don't think so.
We're still the mind body is still there.
But everything that you can do in this very moment is available to you to do.
Everything you can do, yes.
Yeah, you are.
And what will be chosen?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. What are you going to do?
That's the way cool thing.
It certainly can be.
Yeah.
Or scary.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
because going on an adventure is doing something that you don't know for sure how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, that's the scary I'm talking about.
And there's some sense of danger.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if you go into a park in one entrance and you don't know where you're going to exit, well, you don't know how it's going to turn out, but it's called a walk in the park. It's not called an adventure. And if you jump off a one-story building, you don't know if you're going to break your leg or walk away. If you jump off a 10-story building, we pretty much know how that ends.
Yeah,
so
we can predict that with pretty
so when you go on an adventure, you're taking a risk. And if you knowingly take a risk, now all of us graybeards have the experience of taking risks. We had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
But if you knowingly take a risk, then you're going to feel the risk.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of that feeling is afraid.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong. That's how it works.
What's going on, right? Mm-hmm.
And if you want to add the element of something cool could come out of this, if it's not just, do I survive and do I come out with all my fingers and toes, something cool could come out of this. Now it's an exciting adventure and gives people the opportunity to act courageously. Well, what's that? Making something more important than being afraid. Well, where's the aspect of your being from which you can make something more important than being afraid? The spiritual aspect of your being. That's where.
Yep. That's where it is. The buzz and being.
In the middle.
There you go.
That same place that you have that buzz is the same place that you can choose to make something more important. And what will it be?
Right.
Again, you get to pick.
Yep.
There you go. A lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we all need something to do, and so. And that's a tricky thing, because what happens so often is people move from, I'm the one who did it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start blaming and condemning someone if the result was not that great.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
So that distinction between, I'm the one who did it,
mm-hmm.
and let's skip blame and condemnation, because that's not going to really do anything for us. It's got a long history in human beings.
Very popular.
And it's got a long history for us. But even if you're 8 years, pretty long history of blaming and condemning.
Yeah.
How's it working?
Yeah.
Typically not very effectively.
No.
And for no reason other than that, we could give it up. It just doesn't work very well.
There you go. And that's the learning process, to learn that doesn't work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And we certainly could learn that.
All right.
That's not the same thing as, oh, well, never mind what I did in the past, because as we're noting, wisdom would have asked us to learn from it.
Exactly, right.
Have to keep doing the same foolish thing over and over again. But blaming and condemning is not useful in that learning process. In fact, it just usually screws it up.
You're getting away.
Exactly. So, yeah. Cool stuff.
That's why I'm interested in bringing it forward, because I think it is pretty cool
It is
stuff.
cool stuff.
It really is.
It is. I'm sure you will spur other conversations.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah. So I came up with a title for your podcast. Spirituality and the Buzz of Being.
Oh, yeah.
In Kevin Polk fashion. But that ought to get some people clicking on it.
Oh, yeah.
and playing around with that. And we matricized it right down to the middle. Well, it's actually two circles. There's a noticing circle, and then within the noticing circle, then there's a buzz of being circle. And the buzz of being, well, Hank explained it, contains a lot of stuff. But it contains so much stuff it buzzes. Buzz, and loses the buzz of being. There we go.
Yeah.
And loses its verbal pointers.
Drops away.
It drops away, and it becomes music. Basically the music that you're dancing to.
And that's why I like the music metaphor.
Yeah.
I often say, if you go around with your ears open, then you are very likely to hear one instrument playing softly, metaphorically speaking. And if you follow it, it may fade away, because sometimes it's an illusion.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's always an illusion. It can get louder, and you get additional instruments. And if you keep pursuing it, you may get a whole orchestra with a whole genre of music that you are moved by. And I didn't know this until late in life. I thought that when piano tuners came to the piano, they hit the tuning fork and then they made the note sound like the tuning fork. But it turns out that's only how they get started.
That's right.
When it's done properly, you hit the note and the tuning fork just goes off. It is said to resonate to the note. Well, that's the kind of experience I'm talking about. You just get this resonance within you. You get this buzz within you. And I it gets ruined, because then people ask, but what does it mean? Well, I'm very fond. I started to tell a story a moment ago. I may tell it again, but this is what I got from Joseph Campbell. Are you looking for the meaning of life or the experience of being alive?
Right.
The experience of being alive is not about, it doesn't mean anything. It's an experience. And that resonance, that buzz, that is an experience that is available if you go looking for it. And of course, sometimes it just crashes onto you. And
sometimes it does.
What happened here?
Yeah.
But it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
It can be.
The great thing is it's there.
And if you spend your life like this, la 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 la,
Your eyes covered, right? Yeah.
Right. No, it's a worthy thing to get in contact with.
Yeah. Or if you're just trying to get to the end, Hank, I'm reminded, Kevin sent me a really short little video clip, Alan Watts talking about creativity and basically the idea of going to hear a symphony. You don't just go to hear the last chord when you go to the symphony, right? You're not just going to boom. You're going to hear the whole melody. You're going for the dance.
Right. So life isn't about getting to the end of life. life is about the dance.
That's and so very well said. It's not about some other place, or some other time. Metaphorically, people have said this is the golden lotus world.
Yep. This is it. This is it.
Yep.
Campbell was rather fond of quoting something from the Thomas Gospel. You may know that a bunch of books were said, those are out now. We're not going to have those anymore. This is the official Christian books.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them that didn't make it in was this Gospel according to Thomas. And in that book, the Christ figure is asked, when will the kingdom come? And the answer in that book is, the kingdom of the Father is spread upon the earth, but people do not see it. Well, that's a very different notion than, oh, well, some other place, some other time.
Right. A very different notion, yeah. And much more consistent with hear the music, dance. It's it's right there.
On the other hand, here we are in a place where we will often want things and not get them.
Yeah.
And often not want things and we will get them.
And get them, right, yeah.
And the response to that, either of those, will be sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, we'll die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who would have signed up? Hey, I've got something for you.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Ooh.
no thanks.
And here we are.
Yeah.
No.
Without nobody even checked in. That's the thing. It's not only that we're here. Nobody even told us. It's just like, here we are.
Right.
There we are, and now you're stuck in it.
And there's this other aspect that is also right here, right now, that we can cultivate the ability to contact.
Yes. And that's what we go about doing, is
That's
cultivating that ability to contact it.
Yes, because what we are doing with our hands and arms and feet and mouth, that brings us into contact with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may want to sit quietly or walk quietly or do something quietly by yourself to help make contact with this place, this spiritual aspect of your being. But it's putting it to use in the world. What you do with your hands and arms and feet and mouth, that's where living, real life takes place. Not just existing in, pretty good condition for a while until you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like they say, ships are safe in a harbor, but that's not what ships are for. The doll is safe in the box.
Yes.
What dolls are for?
Nope. Exactly.
They're to be loved.
Yeah.
Nope. Very cool. Very cool stuff, actually.
Yeah.
Very, very cool stuff. Wow. Well, we've given people some very deep stuff to do. And but by the way, it starts with noticing. It is, Hank is referring to beyond noticing, but it starts with noticing.
And so that's why I've kind of picked up this phrase. It begins with recognizing that there's a place from which that noticing occurs.
Yep.
That place is not your mind. It is not more blah, 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 blah. It is not more pictures, because that's usually what minds give us, is blah, 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 and pictures. Still pictures, maybe moving pictures with sound. It's not that. And it's not your body. It's not, bodily sensations. I feel good. I feel bad. I feel tightness in my chest. I feel tears in my eyes. Oh, I have tears in your eyes. Of what kind? Joy? Well, you don't really know.
Nope.
But whatever this place is, it's not that. It's something else.
Mm-hmm. Beyond that. Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
Well, we will name your podcast, put it out, and we'll have you back.
Yes,
We like to have people
please
back.
come back.
We do. And, we sign people up to talk about different topics. Lately, as you've seen from the emails, they'll be talking about moving and procrastination and but all done. Let's say if anybody wonders, in Phil and I's latest series of emails, which were, what's your favorite, mindful moving? What's your favorite way to procrastinate?
Favorite mindful.
What's your favorite this?
Yeah.
You answer that question from the place that Hank is talking about. And anybody go, oh, that's what they were up to. Mm-hmm. Right. We were asked questions. That's why questions are so much better than statements in many cases, because you can, through an artful question, you can take people to a place like that buzz of being place with a question.
If you find language that gets people to go, oh, look at that.
Hey, there you go. That's it.
Experience that.
And so people answering those questions from those places will be coming onto the podcast and telling us about them, and that should be some fun.
Yeah.
You'll notice Phil and I have fun at this.
And what other alternative? Oh, let's just be miserable.
We could endeavor to do that. Next week we'll be miserable while we're doing the podcast.
Yeah. We can get some really good grouchy conversations going.
Which is why I come back to the importance of doing whatever it is you're doing willingly.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it grudgingly, we have to do another damn podcast. Well, it's not going to be that great.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, but to continue with this, that gets right into this. By the way, folks, we're recording this on January the 7th, 2020. And so the New Year's resolutions are about. And so what many people do is grudgingly go about doing their resolution.
Water, like you got to do it if you don't want to.
They reported it wasn't that great.
Exactly. It is, how long are you going to keep up doing something that you're grudgingly doing?
A couple of weeks or two.
Not very long. No, none of us do. I mean, that comes in the category of yucky, and pretty soon we'll say, hey, I could just choose not to do this and then not get rid of that.
Well,
there you go.
But then think about the alternative. There are people who have been doing things grudgingly for 40 and 50 years.
That's true. Yeah.
And they are doing it.
Yep.
And 40 or 50 years every day.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, crap. Oh.
Yeah.
Gee, that is tough.
Yep.
That's tough.
Hit yourself on the head.
Yep, that's tough. Some people in that situation, though.
And they don't have that sense. There's a place from which I could choose willingly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't choose liking this, but I can choose to do it willingly, which is the essence of a transformation.
Right.
You will be transformed.
Most definitely.
By doing something willingly.
Yep. So there you go, folks. Go for it. But you'll do it from that.
Or not.
Yeah, well, Hank's definitely got the Phil and Kevin shtick. Hey, do it or don't do it, whatever. That's okay. We like you, whatever. It's all right. At the end, Phil and I oftentimes refer to Mr. Rogers. He's been in the news lately and stuff, and his message to children, or the child that he was always talking to, is, I like you just the way you are. And that sort of, he was looking at that buzz of being.
And the thing is, that is a great thing for children.
Yep.
But I also think I don't like you just the way you are. And I'm going to be kind and considerate and thoughtful about my interactions with you anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's what I pick.
That's what I choose to do.
That's what I get to pick. I get to choose.
I get to choose that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't get to choose if I like you, because there are things I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do. However, there are other things that I do get to pick.
Yeah.
How do I interact with things I don't like? Well, about that, there's choices.
There
Where's
is
the place from where I can make them? Man, don't make them from your mind or your body, because your mind's going to tell you what's wrong, and your body's going to tell you they don't like it. It doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So you can't make those choices from those places. You without finding this other aspect of your being, you are really stuck.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, you could just
Yeah,
run
it is
around
tough.
arguing for your limitations, and then they're just yours, which is what people are doing.
And so if you take the phrase a spiritual awakening, meaning what we have just been talking about, that is contact with that place from which, oh, I get to pick how I respond to things. I don't get to pick whether or not I like it, but I get to pick how I respond to things I don't like.
Yes.
That is an awakening.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And it's transformative.
Yeah. It's a
It
game.
is.
Yeah.
And it's not a body transformation. It's not an intellectual transformation. It's not, oh, now I know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual transformation.
Right. You're
Cool.
seeing it from a different place. Coming
Exactly.
at it from a different place.
From a different place, from the spiritual aspect of your being, not your mind or your body.
Yep. Cool. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
And we could even matricize it.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
And I bet you will.
Well, that's it. Can we do that every once in a while? Put the buzz of being in the middle of the matrix.
Oh, yeah.
We'll give you credit. We'll say,
Yeah,
hey,
that
Hank
works
thought it
very
was a really
nice.
cool
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
If you disperse it,
Well, we always do.
I do like. It's kind of interesting when people tell you something that turns out to have been your idea.
Yeah.
And they have no idea that they're telling you
Yeah,
something
right.
you gave
It
them.
resonates. There's that word resonate.
Zzz, there you go.
That is really not as important as disseminating
Yeah.
this stuff.
That's what's important. Yes.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
absolutely, if
Yeah.
you can get more people in contact with
Mhm.
this, absolutely go for it.
Oh, we'll go for it. We
Yeah.
will.
We're
And as
doing
I said, I'm
We
sure
will. We
Consider it
will.
done, Hank.
No, that's what we like to do. That's how we get our kicks. About 5 days a week of it. Well, sometimes we take Fridays off.
Yeah.
4 days a week of it.
no, people rarely steal things they don't think are worth having.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Thank you for
Somebody sent me something the other day, and they said, this is obvious that they've taken your matrix and sort of repurposed it. And my response was, great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More people will make contact with it.
Absolutely.
And they can have a life that is more life in it,
Yeah.
rather than just existing until we die.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Now the idea is getting the word out about this.
So this
buzz of being thing.
this manuscript that I've been working on is titled "Act for Spiritual Development."
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
ACT stands for, or I'm sorry, willingly act for spiritual development.
Okay.
And the ACT is willingly acknowledge, willingly choose,
Mm-hmm.
and willingly teach others.
Yeah.
Because unless teaching goes forward, well, a little crowd of us knew about this,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
and we are special now because
Oh, yeah. We get together and huddle. We huddle.
yeah, sure. Now, Phil and I ain't so special.
this is not how life
No.
get better.
Yeah.
No. It's not. No. We'll pop it out on podcasts and do other things. And we just do stuff, as you know, Hank. We just do stuff. And Hank, you would love this
I've
one.
been noticing that.
And you would love it. We have a Phil, get that thing at the dance, the choreographer lady.
Oh, Martha Graham.
Martha Graham, who
boy,
was
now
a
you're gonna make me
dance choreographer. Anyway,
Oh.
her thing is that do stuff. It's not your job to judge it.
Oh, I know. It's basically keep the channel open.
Keep the channel open. Keep putting stuff out
there. Judge it or to decide whether it's right or wrong, but to freely act from what's coming from within you. To act it into, because if you don't, it's going to be lost.
It'll be lost.
And
the world will never have it.
That's our job, is to just keep that channel open and keep it going.
So we remind each other of that often. Like, keep the channel open, keep putting stuff out there, keep doing things, and it grows bit by bit. It's fun.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
And
please come back.
I appreciate it. I will look forward to the invitation.
We will. Okay. Don't go anywhere. I'm just going to stop the recording. Bye-bye, folks.
Yeah.
The Art of Being signing off here.